we just wanted to talk about kind of the opportunity, where we see things headed with BitTensor, and then AI in general. So who we are, we're a small team of just right now collaborators working to leverage BitTensor, Web3, all of the stuff on demonstrating where we can go in the future with Web3, Web4, and increasing adoption of BitTensor broadly, right? So our belief obviously is a more intelligent global network of neurons means more innovative answers we can leverage to solve the problems. And that's what it's all about, is solving problems that we face today. So why BitTensor? Why did we pick it kind of as the foundation? We think intelligence as a commodity will lead to more efficient solutions. And that's pretty straightforward. That's obviously what's going to happen. But let me get into that. So intelligence commodification came up with the panel with Robert. Commodities have always acted as a foundation of empires, right? Everything is built on commodities. That's where creativity is founded on. That's what encourages trade and interaction, and all of the wonderful stuff we have today is because it founded as a commodity and being able to value that. So we think BitTensor has a unique opportunity to convert intelligence into the next commodity. I'll get into it in the next slide, but really we've gone from compute through data to now intelligence as the foundation for what we can build on. And it'll be all summed up in value based in tau. Oh, went the wrong way. So where we're seeing things going is in that commodity, right? So progression depends on our ability to commoditize the previous generations for refining procedures. Over the past 10, 20 years, we've spent a ton of our energy and resources and businesses literally just trying to get data into intelligence so we can take action. That's been the past. I mean, so much, probably most of our careers is based on analyzing data, managing people that analyze data, writing code to analyze that data so that we can come up with solutions to problems. It makes up a big chunk of our economy. And that gives competitive edge, it gives profit, but also what we've seen is it has built a whole bunch of extra fat on our industries, and we want to be able to slice that down. So with the commodification of intelligence, the inefficiencies of all that, right? All that extra fat that we have of people going and building out, services on services to be able to help, just be able to extract data from a database. That needs to go away. We can't be just living in the world of how can we optimize and profiting off of that. We really need to come up with solutions to the problems we're facing. So 3 main focuses that we're seeing things headed. One is hardware that's powerful enough to host multiple models, but also efficient enough to limit electrical costs and carbon emissions, right? We talked about that H100s. They're impossible to get. NVIDIA has, all of that ownership of that. And today, because it's so narrowed, because you have a few companies that have the relationships, they just print money straight into the developers' pockets, right? They have that incestuous relationship, and we don't have a lot of creativity. Whereas, with Bitcoin mining, all that hashing, there's been a lot of money spent on making Bitcoin efficient, and we want to bring that also to BitTensor as well, and intelligence and AI models. Second, the AI models that are constantly improving because of free market competition and open feedback and comparisons. That's a no-brainer. We really need to get to open. We had a panel just a second ago just talking about that, needing more open AI models so that we can solve real problems. And then third, that I want to talk to a lot on is the re-envisioning of how we interface with data, leading to less screen time, more personal time, but preserving all the solutions that we have. So BitTensor as a value proposition means that BitTensor it's been able to be the first mover in encapsulating value of intelligence, commoditizing intelligence, as opposed to, as we've talked about in the past, just having it as an add-on, that's limited to Microsoft owning it or OpenAI owning it or Google owning it. Intelligence by itself can be valued. So let me take a step back and talk a little bit more about that. So AI generally should be about solving problems that we're facing. It shouldn't be about just about the data and then being able to sell that. That's actually two ahead. Let me jump to that. So as of today, what we've seen is a lot of this cost plus pricing, right? You guys probably use it when you're querying the network. It's you pay for a cent per token or a cent per 10,000 tokens or whatever the price is. So that's a lot of the AI and ML firms pricing today. That doesn't encourage development. That only encourages utilizing more tokens, right? In fact, our perspective is it kind of encourages the opposite, where we're seeing people, the more you have to query, the more you're gonna pay the provider. So there's not real profit motivation to improve that. So shifting it over to a commodity as a basis of intelligence and valuing it off of what it's actually solving should be able to help AI firms price more competitively, be able to collect more money by charging for what they're actually solving, as opposed to just charging for people querying their API and doing a cost plus electricity and compute power without being able to go and innovate on top of that. So we believe BitTensor will empower developers and providers to shift to this value-based pricing. I mean, if we develop on it, if we build on it, we can leverage that. And then back one on the share of global intelligence, right? Bitcoin, Monero, Litecoin, that's all based on hashing algorithms. It's all based on proof of work that supports unsensible transactions and value storage, right? And there's a ton of value on that we've seen today. There's tons of other projects, cryptocurrencies that are coming up with all kinds of solutions based on existing industries. We see Tau as more disruptive than most of these other tokens. It's going to act as its own new proof of work value system. So being able to leverage Tau, being able to get as much share as you can to be able to influence the network and drive it towards more intelligence gives ideally you a share of that intelligence, a share of that global network of neurons that you can leverage and share with others and profit off of that to be able to build out solutions that solve tomorrow. So the value of Tau will be driven by the value expected to be applied to a global network of intelligence. We think it's gonna be massive. We're not here for Moon Boys. I'm not big onto the hype and stuff, but there's a lot of opportunity if we have intelligence as the basis for value and valuing that as a commodity as opposed to treating it as just cost plus on the hardware. So just a bit more to wrap up. We're aiming to help BitTensor grow. It's funny, I came into this expecting, a lot of people to be focused on the Web3 and kind of the old past couple of years on solutions we've built. And I've actually found that everyone's kind of all connected on where things are headed with AI, Web3, trustiness, truthfulness, all of that access. That's going to keep building out. So North Tensor's goal is to help support that. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it's we'll probably need to pull in Akash and Arweave and Jensen on actually plugging all of these systems together to be able to demonstrate and show the solutions that we can provide for the future. So I'll get into that in a second. Actually, real quick, just as a curiosity, before today, how many of you guys knew about BitTensor? Okay, like hardly a handful, maybe a third, a bit less. So it's still early. There's still a lot of opportunity for to leverage it. So something we're really passionate about is builder culture, right? I've been in crypto for like 10 years now. And when I was a kid, it was everyone was just so excited. Everyone was building so many cool little things. A lot of that gets lost or has been lost in the bull runs. And we want to kind of bring that back because I think that's kind of foundational to real adoption is where people want to create. It's not about just trying to profit as much as possible. It's about coming up with real solutions to the problems the world are facing. So our focus is going to be on getting participants and people that want to build and people that want to leverage BitTensor and all these other solutions into building as quick as possible. A lot of times we see these networks that get kind of tight-knit and shady, and they say, you know, keep people out because they're profiting so much off of, you know, because they're a network administrator and they know how to spin up a VPS node and be able to connect the networking. That shouldn't be what decides who contributes to intelligence. We're working to overcome that to make sure that everyone can get on the network as quickly as possible and providing exposure. And then separately, we're working on marketing and hype. We'll have more on that in the near future. And then tools, APIs, and demonstrations to document, demonstrate, and get people, again, on-ramped and leveraging the network however they can, right? So whether it's you're a developer and you want to program, which is probably most of us here, but even if you have no development experience at all, right? We want to hear from you on how you can be involved in the network. So everyone can help support that. So that's who we are. That's how we look to help. If you guys have any questions or feel like you have any ideas on how you can kind of bring insight or support to us, reach out, let us know. We're on Discord. And what else do we have? I think we have something else. Discord is the main one. So contact us on Discord, Twitter as well, and let us know. And I think that's it.